Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. In today's video we're going to count down the top 10 oldest currencies that are still in use. We'll travel all around the world, all over the whole globe and all throughout history to find out the top 10 currencies, the top 10 oldest currencies still in use today by the population of that country. So let's begin with number 10. So what is the first currency on our list? What is the 10th oldest currency? Well, it is the Swedish Krona, of course used in Sweden. Now, the Swedish Krona was first introduced in 1873, so an old currency to begin with, and of course going forward will only get older and older. Now, for those that didn't know, Sweden is of course a country to the north of Europe where this coinage and currency is used. The coins were first released, as I say, in 1873. Here we have a first early example with a sort of royal crest to the reverse and a portrait to the obverse. And we have banknotes as well. Here we can see one from 1875 and a coloured banknote to begin with for the 1800s. Still today they use very colourful and nice polymer banknotes now, as we can see here, as well as coins to accompany the banknotes, as we can see here some silver and a sort of brassy coloured one there for their circulating coins. And then today one Swedish krona equals 0.075 pounds sterling, so 7 pence roughly for Swedish krona. And we're now on to number 9. In 9th place is the Japanese yen. So a coin of course from very far across the world from our UK viewers. It was introduced in 1871, so a little bit earlier, just a few years earlier than the Swedish krona. And of course Japan is located, as I say, across the world from Sweden in the South China Sea. And we can see here a very old and early banknote of the Japanese yen denomination. As well as banknotes, they had coins, of course. A famous design for these coins being round, sort of the outside, with a square hole to the centre for the early Japanese yen coins. And today they still have holes in the centre of many of them, as well as colourful banknotes, paper banknotes for now. They have not yet switched to polymer banknotes. And the Japanese yen as a currency is fairly low, around 0.054 pounds sterling, so half a pence for one Japanese yen, so quite weak currency, but still being used after all these years. As is the next currency, number 8, even older, and for the 8th place entry we have the Swiss franc. And how old is this currency? Well, it was introduced a little earlier, still in the 1800s, in 1850. So a very old currency now, again still spanning 3 centuries of use. And the Swiss franc, of course, is again a European currency, this time from more central, sort of Western Central Europe. Now we can see here the first ever design of the 1 franc coin, used and debuted in 1850, and the design was so good that it is still used today on the 1 franc coin. And here you can see some other denominations of the franc coin. As well as using coins, they also have now the banknotes, of course, and we can see here very lovely, colourful banknotes, bright vivid colours, on the Swiss franc banknotes of today. The Swiss franc remains a used and strong currency worth 90 pence for 1 Swiss franc, so strong currency. And we'll now move on to number 7. The 7th oldest currency still in use is the Dominican Peso. When was this introduced? A little earlier than the franc, in 1844. So still an 1800s introduced currency. Now for those of you who don't know where the Dominican Republic is, it is in the Central American sort of islands there, near Cuba and Puerto Rico, above South America. Now we can see here an early, from the first year of 1844, Dominican quarter peso we can see here, a very round, uniform design coin, but a very plain coin, I must say, for this design. Later issues though had more design detail. You can see here in 1897, 1 peso, un peso, with a very nice design to both obverse and reverse. And today the currency, of course, still being used, looks like this. Once again we see modern, colourful polymer banknotes, with change as well, featuring some biometallic coins you can see there. Now 1 peso today is worth 14 pence, so not the weakest of currencies, but not a very strong currency as well. And we'll now move on to number 6. What is the 6th oldest currency still in use? Well, that would be, once again across the world, over to the Forkland Islands now, the Forkland Islands pound. This was introduced in 1833 as its own unit of currency, the Falkland Island pound, and they can see here still today used as coins over in the Falkland Islands with their own designs for their own coins for that country. Now, of course, the Falkland Islands are owned by the UK and by Britain, so they share the same sort of style of coinage of the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 and 50p under the pound, and the Falkland Islands pound is tied to the value of the £1, so it's worth £1 sterling is worth 1 Falkland Islands pound. But we can see here some lovely banknotes, again with the lovely colour, red, green and purple there for some of the banknotes. And the Falkland Islands is down to the bottom of South America, near Argentina and Chile, as we can see on the map. We're now halfway through the oldest currency list, on to number 5, which is held by the Haitian Gourd, a very old currency, introduced in the early 1800s, 1813 to be precise for this coinage, so a very old currency. We can see here an old banknote with a, still some decent colour and design to it for the early 1800s. That one there is from 1827, and as well as banknotes, of course, you have coins as well. A lovely design coin here from 1895, with a portrait to the obverse and a cool design of a palm tree and cannons on the reverse. And today their coins look a little bit like 50p's, or some of them do at least. The one gold coin does here, a 7-sided silvery looking coin. And again, for the cash notes, we can see lovely coloured polymer notes. A theme now for modern currencies to have lovely colourful polymer notes. A very small buying power though for one Haitian Gourd, 0.0061 of a pound sterling. Now then, getting very old, on to number 4, which is the United States dollar. Of course, a very recognised and famous currency all around the world used for trading. Now, it was introduced in 1792, so not too long after the United States gained independence in 1776, and the USA is located to the north of America, as we can see there. From day one, the coins had a theme, a portrait to the obverse, and some form of bird to the reverse. We can see here covered on a silver and a gold coin. There were silver and gold milled coins making up the dollar and cent system of the US currency, as well as notes. All notes were promissory notes, basically, for gold, so you could trade in your note for gold, as of course the gold and the silver held the real value over the paper. Now the notes of course are still used today, but they're no longer available to trade in for gold. We can see there the iconic design for the US $1 note, and the coins are still used of course, with 1 cents, quarters, dimes and stuff used over in America, and the USA dollar is worth 0.81 pounds sterling, so 81 pence, so a strong currency, as you'd expect for the US dollar, an internationally recognised and traded currency. Now on to number 3, the medal holders. Bronze medal, 3rd place, is the Serbian Dinar. And we jump back very far in history now, all the way to 1214, as the year of the first introduction for the Serbian Dinar, a very old coin indeed. Serbia is again a European country, located there to the sort of southeast, and they have been using the same currency for over 800 years. Here is a very early example. You can see a hammered style design made by hand, with 2 figures there to one side and a seldom figure there to the other side. Good detail for 800 years ago. And today, they have gone with the ways of the modern currency, having multicoloured polymer banknotes there as you can see, and then for lower value coins and currency, we have the coins. Here we are, the 1, 2, 5, 10 and 20 denominations there, in some brass and silver colours, looking very cool. And the Serbian dinar is again a very small valued currency, 0.0074 of a pound sterling. So little buying power, but a lot of history. And now on to number 2, silver medal, is the Russian ruble. A very old currency once again, from a similar era, first introduced around 1204 to 1210, so a little while before the Serbian dinar. Russia, of course, is located to the north of Europe and sort of over Asia and Europe. It's a massive country, as I'm sure you know. We have here a very early example of Russian ruble, with text, old Russian transcript text to one side, and a little figure there of 2 people on one side. By the 17 and 1800s, a very comprehensive system had been worked out for the coins. We have here a copper coin denomination, we have here a silver denomination, and there have been many for these denominations, so copper, silver, and of course for the higher value purchases, gold. So similar to many other countries having their gold, silver, and copper coins back in the 18 and 1700s. Then today, for modern day, once again, polymer coloured banknotes for use in circulation, as well as coins, very simple coins here, the numbers being very large indeed to easily see the value of the coins they're using to this day. And they get a very low value currency, 0.0089 pounds sterling for 1 Russian ruble. Low value, but still being used. And now, number 1, the oldest currency still in use, it is the British pound sterling. The 1 pound sterling from Britain and England and the United Kingdom. Introduced in 785 AD, so much older than all the other currencies on this list, and in of itself, extremely old currency, still being used. In the early days, we had hammered coins, all done by hand again, struck by hammers, and the usual portrait of the monarch to the obverse, still a theme today, where the monarch of the time features on the obverse of the coins of that day. And we can see here to the other side a long cross design, a method for people to stop clipping the coins from the edges. Now, hammered coins are used for many, many centuries, up until around the 1600s, when they were still being used, but they were changed over to milled coins, as we can see here, a gold sovereign, having the milling all around the edge, you can there see, to prevent the coins from being clipped, so no precious metal could be stolen. And then today, as with many other countries, polymer, colourful banknotes have been used and brought in, and here are the current circulating coins from many denominations to use, and many metals and styles and shapes and sizes. So a cool currency with great history from the 700s. So please do comment down below your favourite currency, and maybe even an old currency that isn't in use. And of course as well, please do subscribe to the channel if you've learnt something new and enjoyed. Thank you for watching to the very end, and I'll see you again soon for some more coins in the future on Bits and Bobs. Bye for now.